What's going on, everybody? In today's video, I want to talk to you about handling price objections, and I want to really help reframe your mindset around price objections, around money, around your prospects and your customers having issues with paying the money that you're asking them of. And if you're ever struggling with anything price related in the sales process in your business, this is going to be what you need, and you definitely need to hear this. Now, of course, as always, smash that like button, make sure to comment your thoughts below, and I'd love to answer any questions that you may have. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Pay this forward and send this video to somebody that you think is going to get value out of it. And all that said, let's get into how to handle price objections and anything to do with money in your sales process and in your business. So first things first, let me just get the mindset clear. Let me just get your thought process clear on this one thing. When value exceeds price, price is no longer an issue. Price should not matter if the value of your product, your service, your proposition is above and beyond that price. Now, tied in with that, there's a very important distinction I want to make. If you're getting a lot of price and money objections to your product or service early on, as soon as you're interacting with that prospect or in your sales pitch even, or in the beginning of your presentation, then you know that this prospect is not on the right product, on the right service, on the right package. Maybe they need to be moved up, moved down. Maybe they think they want something of more value and premium, so they want to pay more actually, and they'll make sense of paying more rather than paying less. Or they want to be moved down and they're just not qualified for the product or service you're putting in front of them. So if you're getting an objection around money or price early from a prospect, more often than not, that's the distinction that you need to make. Now, that being said, if you're getting a price or money objection later in the deal, when you're asking for the sale, you're asking for the close, and you're in the latter stages of your sales process, and this is something that's common with you, that just goes to show you really haven't built enough value in your product or your service. And again, when the value exceeds the price becomes irrelevant. That's the truth. Now, of course, there's outliers. Of course, there's certain cases where with certain people, it really comes down to the pennies, and you have to break it down for them and make it count and really close them with logic and do the math and do all these things. Sure. But more often than not, a principle that you need to sell by, that you need to implement into your business, is when value exceeds the price becomes irrelevant. So again, making that distinction early in the sales process, yes, you need to address that customer, that prospect, and figure out what product or service you need to put them on, what package you need to put them on, how you can make that deal work for them, how you can customize it, which moving pieces you can move around to make that deal work for them. But if it's later in the sales process, and if it's in the close, or when you're asking for the deal and you've taken them along this whole journey all the way to the close, and now you're getting money or price objections, more often than not, you're going to have to go back, circle back to your presentation, to your value propositions, to the things that would matter to them, that they care about, that would solve their problem, and sell them on the value of that. Let them know that this solves the problem for them. And when solving that problem that they came in for, that they're talking to you about, when your product and service shows you can demonstrate that it'll solve their problem for them, that becomes more valuable than the piece of paper they're holding, the money. That becomes more valuable than exchanging that money to have that problem solved. And that's essentially what it comes down to. And another point that I just want to make on the side, but it's so important, if you're a salesperson that's in an industry where you're doing a lot of negotiation back and forth, and your price really is, you're able to change it and move up and down models or packages and things like that, and people know that they can negotiate with you on the price, or if you're an entrepreneur or business owner and you actually dictate the pricing of your products and services, this is important to know. You never, ever want to discount your prices. That's not what it's about. The only thing that's going to happen if you start to discount your prices for your products or services is you will lose integrity. You will lose face with that customer. The prospects and the customers will know that you weren't really convicted in what you were saying before. You didn't have the confidence and the honesty and the transparency behind what you were saying before, where you're telling them that your product and service is worth X amount, but now you're changing it to X amount. You're discounting the price. Now you're just showing them that the value is really not there, and who's to say they should trust you on this new price? What if you can discount it even more? And then it becomes a slippery slope, and it becomes an issue if you're in sales and if you're in business. So the first rule is You come up with a fair valuation, a fair price for your product and your service. You obviously do your market research. You look at what makes sense for you. You look at your costs, all these different things, and you understand what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. I actually did another video on the #1 rule of negotiations. You should go and watch that. And the #1 rule of negotiations was, and this is from Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, whenever they acquire companies and businesses for Berkshire Hathaway, which is a conglomerate if you don't know Berkshire Hathaway, when they acquire businesses and they own businesses outright, like Geico, like Dairy Queen, when they go into these negotiations, their #1 rule for negotiating is they have a line, they have a hard line, they have a standard, they have a valuation and a price in mind, and they propose that, and that's it. If the other party can't meet that, then there's no deal. If the other party can meet that, which they obviously more often do, then it's a fair price, it's a fair deal, and that's that. So that's the type of integrity you want to have with your product and your service. So discounting your price is never a solution, and actually more often than not, it becomes a problem. So that was just a very important side note that I had to make on this topic. You never want to discount your price. All that said, when it comes to actually handling the price objections, again, it's very simple. When value exceeds price, price becomes irrelevant, and therefore your focus needs to be on the value. In your sales process, in your business as a whole, your focus always needs to be on generating value. And what does value mean? Value really just means what your product or service does for this person. What does it do for this prospect? How does it solve their problem? And above and beyond that, what value do you bring? Think about how you can over deliver to your prospects with a ton of value by servicing them, by going above and beyond, by giving them more in terms of service and relationship wise, more than they even expect. Think of all these things as value adds. And again, when the value exceeds price, the price becomes irrelevant. So there you have it. That's my mindset on handling price objections or any kind of money objections. And if you're following my content, my channel, everything we discuss here, if you're part of this community, I don't ever want to hear you struggling or dealing with any kind of money or price objections again. And I hope that helps. I hope you got value out of that. And again, please make sure to smash that like button. Comment below if you have any questions. If you want to go deeper into this and you want me to address any kind of questions or comments you might have, I would love to get back to you in the comment section below. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this with more people. Let's get more eyeballs on the community. Let's get more people involved so we can all help each other, uplift each other. And all that said, I'll see you on the next video.